Welcome and let your journey to soul expansion begin. I'm your host, Kristen Kaczynski. This show will take you on a journey of expansion, encouraging you to release the limitations of your mind and lean into the wisdom of your soul. Remembering who you are on a soul level will help you release your conditioning, expectations, limiting beliefs, fears, and worries, and evoke a life expanded by your energetic alignment. Whether you're an entrepreneur who wants to grow your income and impact, or someone who knows in your heart of hearts that you're made for more, this podcast will help you awaken the power that's already inside of you, allowing you to attract an easy flow of money, clients, opportunities, and fulfillment. In each episode, you'll learn something new, expand your consciousness, and you'll walk away with a glimpse of what's truly possible for you. If you're ready to follow your soul's calling and live a more expansive life, you're in the right place. Welcome, and let your journey to soul expansion begin. Welcome back to the Soul Expansion Podcast. Today, I want to make sure that you understand that this episode is not going to be something that you need to listen to while driving. You need to be in a safe space. We're going to be doing kind of like a meditative activity. So you can't be driving, you can't be operating machinery, and you need to be in a space where you can really just focus on your awareness. So with that disclaimer, today, I am going to be teaching you how to start to expand your intuition and awareness. Now, this is a deep, deep, layered rabbit hole. It's not something that can be taught in one podcast episode or even one coaching session with me. It's something I'm continuing to go deeper on myself. It's something that really is an unfolding, and there's infinite depth to it. I know some healers, some practitioners, spiritual awakening experts who are way deeper in the rabbit hole than I am, and they're continuing to explore it as well. So it's important to understand that what we're going to connect into today on this episode is not a one and done, and is not a destination either. And at the same time, it's also something that you don't necessarily need support exploring. You can definitely quicken your timeline and experience a deeper transformation faster with the help of someone like a coach or a practitioner. But this is all stuff that your body knows. You've been disconnected from it. You may not have ever flexed this muscle, but it's something that is very familiar to your system. And at first it may feel strange, but I want you to understand that you can continue to explore this on your own to the nth degree, and you will be able to experience expanded intuition and awareness just by self-exploration. And yes, things like this podcast, things like working with me in one of my programs, things like working with someone who is an expert in expanding awareness and intuition and playing with the energetics of things will quicken your timeline. But again, you are your own authority, and your body knows this. This is not something I invented. This is something that's been passed down through various spiritual traditions from all different cultures. This is something that is intuitive if we open up the door. But the issue that we experience in our modern life is that we have been conditioned to close this door. And this isn't something that is taught in schools. This isn't something that is practiced even as like a mainstream experience, even though it is something we all have access to. And even more important to understand, if you struggle with the exercise we're going to do today, that's okay. And don't make yourself wrong for it, because our entire lives, many of us have been taught to fully disconnect from our emotions and our bodies. We've been taught that it's not safe to feel. that we should trust our mind, our logical mind, that we have to see the evidence, we have to test things and know for sure. And we've been taught that ambiguities or exploration or uncertainties are wrong or unsafe or not good for us. Some of us have even been taught not to trust our own bodies or not to love our own bodies. And so, depending on where you're at in your own healing, this may be a really challenging exercise, and that's okay. That doesn't mean that you're broken or that you're not going to be able to do this eventually if it's something you're interested in. It just means that there's more layers to work through. And trust me, a year ago, this sort of thing would not have connected for me. I would have been like, what? What is she smoking? What is she talking about? There's no such thing as energy in the way that she's describing it. That would have been my reaction to this podcast episode 1 year ago. So a lot can change, a lot can happen if it doesn't feel accessible now. And I just want you to know that and trust that and just honor your own path in this. And you may be wondering, okay, why are we talking about this on like a spiritual business podcast? And the reason why I wanted to do an episode on this is because it gives you freedom and power and more of a connection to what it is you want to manifest and to where your business is going. It also makes you a better practitioner, coach, healer, whatever it is you do. It makes you better at that when you're able to connect with energy, to understand energy, to feel, to sense, to see energy, however you experience energy. For me, it's very much a feeling. For you, maybe you see colors or auras, or when you start to develop these gifts, you will see. Or maybe you get more of like a knowing, or maybe you kind of like hear. You have a sense of hearing what's going on in the energy. Or it may be a combination of all of those senses. Or it may be something that I can't even describe with language, because that's true of this as well. Like, language comes from the mind. It's a beautiful thing, but it's limited. It's linear. And when we're talking about energetics, energy, it's not concrete, it's not linear, and some of it cannot be described with language. Some of it has to be experienced. But when we understand it, when we start to explore it, when we expand our awareness, it just gives us so many more avenues to grow our businesses with, to become better healers and coaches with, and to experience more well-being. Since I've become more energetically aware, I can actually feel, because my main sense is feel. I get a feeling and a knowing. I can actually feel when people are connected into my energy or like reaching for my energy. For example, a client or someone in my audience or a family member or a friend, even my dog. I can feel that as a very tangible sensation. Like I know it's happening. I can even sometimes identify who it is. And since I've understood that, because before I was asleep to that. So since I've awakened to that, and since I've developed better energetic cleansing skills along with the awareness, I've noticed that I experience more well-being because I understand how energy works and how energy is hitting my system. So an example I'd like to share is a couple months ago, I had a former business mentor reach out to me, and she sent me she was activated by something I said. She had an emotional reaction. Her conscious mind was probably offline. She was probably operating unconsciously. And she sent me something in the Instagram DMs that was very triggering for me and felt very hurtful to me. And I don't wish anything bad to happen to her. So, just that disclaimer aside. But in the moment, it felt like she was attacking me. And whether that was her intention or not, probably was not necessarily her intention. Or if it was unconscious coming from one of her trauma responses. So, fully acknowledge that those things can happen, right? But she sent me a message that when it hit my system energetically, I felt like I was being stabbed in the stomach. Like I could feel it. And maybe you know what I'm talking about. Like if you've ever had a really rough breakup, you can like feel that sensation in the heart. And it's not the heart muscle, it's the heart space, right? That's kind of what I'm talking about here. So I could feel that. It felt like a knife like digging into my stomach. And because I had become so much more sensitive to energy, I was able to identify it as her energy. And so once that realization came online for me, I was like, "Oh, that's why I'm feeling so vulnerable right now because she's literally sending energy on the energetic channels to come and attack me." And this is all unconscious for her, right? I don't think she's energetically aware at all. And we all do this, right? We all do this. I find myself doing it sometimes and I have to, center myself back in and call my energy back to myself. So she's not wrong for doing this. But because I was able to identify it, it allowed me to release her energy back to the earth, to clear her energy off of my energetic system. But it allowed me to experience so much more well-being because I no longer was being hit by her attack energy, for lack of a better word. And so I felt safer in my body. I felt more awake and energized. I didn't feel as drained. I didn't feel like a panic attack was coming on, which before I felt very much like I could slip into a panic attack or an anxiety attack, all because of the energy she was communicating to my system on the energetic channels, right? Like I had read the message and the message hit me, of course, but even after I had processed the message and released, any triggers that come up from that, I was still feeling her energy hit my system. So being able to hold myself in that and release her energy back to the earth, just it made me feel so much better. And so think about that too when you think about like your clients. Because I'm more energetically aware now, I can actually feel as well, and I love my clients, but I can feel their energy pulling on my system sometimes as well. Not because they're being energetically irresponsible or anything. I mean, they're unconscious to it or they're not aware that they're doing it. But because it just feels really good to be connected to my energy, right? Like I cleanse my system a lot. I've done a lot of inner work to create a clean system. And so sometimes my clients can connect into my energy and stay connected to my energy even after we're off the phone. And that can feel really draining for me. So having this awareness, if you have a lot of clients right now, or if you feel really drained after doing calls all day, this awareness can help you to get some of your physical energy back, some of your like aliveness back, because you can cleanse your system and you won't have your clients pulling at your energy anymore. So many good things can come out of having awareness of the energetics. And so, as I mentioned at the beginning of this episode, you cannot do this while you are driving or operating machinery or doing any sort of thing like that. You need to be in a safe space where you could safely meditate. And I'm going to take you through an exercise. I want you to approach it with an open mind, without judgment, and with a healthy sense of curiosity. Maybe the intention or the affirmation for this experience for you is, I'm excited to see what I discover. I'm excited to see what I discover. I'm open to discovering something new here. I'm excited to experience something new. Whatever your intention is, it should be something along those lines as we move into this practice. If you are a listener of the Soul Expansion podcast and you are really loving the topics we discuss here, but you're wanting to go deeper, I have some exciting news for you. We are launching a membership just for you, just for people like you who want to experience a deeper soul expansion and want to do it in the name of growing their business, right? So this one is definitely for business owners. The way this membership is going to work is I'm going to create custom healings. So this could be things like hypnosis, meditations, EFT tapping sequences, breath work, Reiki sessions. We're going to do some sessions pre-recorded, some sessions live. And every month we're going to cover a different topic. And these are common mindset and energetic topics that business owners struggle with. So if you struggle to receive in business, we're going to have a month about that. If you struggle with imposter syndrome, we're going to have a month's worth of healings about that. If you struggle with money mindset, if you struggle with keeping money, if you struggle with attracting clients, we will have healings related to all of those topics. So I'm really excited about this. I haven't seen anything like this in the coaching industry, in the healing industry. So this is perfect for you if you already know your strategy or you're already working with like a business strategy coach, but you know you need a little bit of that energetic and healing support to help you really grow and expand to your next level of income and impact. Go to mysoulexpansion.com, get signed up for the waitlist. You'll be the first to know when we launch this membership, and you're going to want to be the first to know because the founding members are going to get a super juicy discounted rate that won't be available after the first initial launch. So get on the waitlist, save your spot. Again, the website is mysoulexpansion.com. Get your name on the waitlist, and let's get back to the show. And so I want you now, if you're in a safe place to meditate, go ahead and close your eyes if that feels good. And let's take 3 deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. And just letting yourself find some stillness here. Continuing to breathe deeply, but releasing the intentionality behind the breath. And the first thing I want you to connect into is, where am I located in this moment? For many of us, it might be somewhere in the head space, in the mind. Maybe directly behind the eyes in that space. Or maybe you're located somewhere else. But I just want you to connect into, where is my awareness located? Where am I located right now? And as you connect into that, I want you to see if you can drop your awareness from that space in the head down into the heart. The distinction here is you're not thinking about your heart. You're dropping your awareness into the space where your heart exists. Knowing that space from within. And for a moment, I just want you to notice what that feels like if you've made that shift. And if you haven't, be gentle and kind with yourself and just keep exploring. How does it feel to be aware from the heart? To know the heart from within the heart? To be here in the heart space? You may notice that your thoughts feel a little further away. Or even gone completely. I know for me, when I sit in this heart space, which I'm doing this right now, by the way, when I sit here, when I'm aware from here, everything that comes out of my mouth, if I'm speaking, becomes a lot more instinctual, authentic, intuitive. And in flow. There's no force to it. It's just coming right from the heart. There's also a sense of detachment here. When we're so aware from the head space, from the mind, from the brain, sometimes we can overthink, we can self-judge, our ego can run the show. But when we're relaxing here in the heart space, it can feel more open, more spacious, more in flow, more like us. So just resting here in the heart space. Notice too if any resistance is coming up for you. If your awareness doesn't want to go down there or doesn't feel like it can. If your mind is taking over and questioning your experience and asking, am I doing this right? If those thoughts are coming in, just allow them to fade away. And see if you can surrender a little to the experience or come back to it later if that feels better for you. If your awareness is here in the heart space and you're feeling resistance or pain or any sort of sensation in the body, I want you to just make a note of it and just be with it. You don't have to fix it, change it, question it, or create a story around it. But you can just hold it and be with it. And now if you're resting here in the heart space, and this feels stable for you, at least in this moment, I want you to play with radiating out from the body. So extending out to the sides to fill up the room with your awareness. Extending in front of your body. Extending behind your body until your awareness is filling up the whole room. And how does that feel different? You can probably hear the shift in my voice. For me, it feels more spacious, more powerful, more expanded. I love having big energy, big awareness. It's one of my patterns, actually, and one of my gifts. So you're filling up the whole room with your awareness. And now I want you to play with extending out beyond the four walls and the ceiling and the floor. So can you root down into the core of the earth, sending your awareness down, your energy down? Feeling that sense of groundedness that comes. Can you tune into that? That stability, that divine masculine energy as you ground down. And then can you extend out to the sides, beyond the walls of the room, beyond your home, your apartment, wherever you are, out to the street or the trees, out to the city or the country, out to the borders of wherever you live, out to the ocean. How far can you extend your energy out? And as you're extending out, try to stay connected to the ground. And then I want you to play with extending your energy up, past the ceiling, past the building, past the clouds, past the sky, all the way up to the stars or the moon or the sun or the planets or whatever feels connected for you. And just take a note, just kind of sense how far away your thoughts are right now. If you're in this experience with me, and how much more open or resistant, that could come up as well. But how does this experience feel different from how you were just 10 minutes ago? And do you notice anything in your energy field? Can you sense anything? Or can you even just notice what it feels like to be this expanded, this boundless, this open, this aware? And now I want you to try holding this expanded awareness along with the awareness in your heart. Holding both. And what does that feel like? For me, there's like an alertness, an awakeness to it, like a sense of being my true self, a sense of being my soul instead of my mind or my body. For you, it may be different. For you, it may be similar. For you, you may feel nothing at all, and that's okay. But playing with this energetic practice, this pathway, this glimpse can lead to more of a sensitivity to the energy and everything else that you do. Which allows you to be more intuitive in your business and to know when you're out of alignment a lot faster. To develop that relationship with your intuition much deeper. To tap into the energy of your higher self and of what you want to manifest. As you increase your energetic sensitivity with an exercise like we're doing now, if you're still in it, doorways open up, things manifest faster, and you start to see your path a lot clearer without even really knowing where it's going or needing to know. And so I want to gently bring you out of this. If you'd like to rest in this energetic state, feel free to hit pause and stay here for as long as feels good to you. But if you're ready to come out of it, very slowly, I want you to pull your energy back in towards your body in your own pacing. Taking it nice and slow. Returning to your space. Becoming more aware of your body. Maybe taking your hands to your heart or your belly. Connecting to your body. And if your eyes are closed, slowly and gently opening your eyes, maybe looking at your own hand for a moment to ground yourself back in. And then scanning your room, noticing your surroundings, seeing the colors and the textures, noticing the surface beneath you, returning to your body. And knowing that you can repeat this experience anytime you'd like by listening to this episode again. And that you can go even deeper on learning how to be aware and intuitive in any of my programs, should you feel called. So, with that, I want to say thank you for being here and thank you for playing this game with me. I'd love to know what your experience was like. If you want to send me a message on Instagram, I'm at Kristen Kaczynski. Or if you had a breakthrough or an interesting experience that you'd love to share with your audience, I so appreciate when you screenshot this podcast and tag me on Instagram in your stories. But keep playing with this, even if you have no clue what just happened or if you didn't feel anything at all. If you desire to understand this more, your body will allow you to understand it in divine timing. So trust your path, trust that it will come together for you when it's meant to. And next week on the Soul Expansion podcast, I have a special episode. My intention with this podcast is to really have it be educational, experiential, and for you to experience a tangible shift with each episode. And so for the most part, I do solo episodes, and it is my intention to do solo episodes, meaning just me on the show, teaching and guiding. But next week, I will have an interview with one of my former clients that I would love for you to experience, because she specifically had a rough time in the beginning of her business. For 2.5 years. She was investing in herself, she was doing the things, and she just was not making any money. I don't think she even made $1,000 in 1 month at any point in time. And then as we started to weave in some of the things that you're learning here on the Soul Expansion podcast, as we started working together one-on-one, she was able to manifest a 5K month within just like 2 months of us working together. And I don't think this is mentioned in the episode, but she also received an influx of money outside of her business that was unexpected after the work we did together. So she really transformed when she started to bring in more of the energetics, more of the manifestation, more of the alignment. And I would love for you to hear her story, to learn from her, and to experience her energy. So she will be here next week. And until next time, I'm Kristen Kaczynski, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Thank you for honoring your soul's calling today and taking the time to listen to this episode of the Soul Expansion podcast. If you have a question you'd like featured or have a topic idea, I would love to hear from you. Find me on Instagram at Kristen Kaczynski and send me a DM with your request. Remember, you are a truly limitless being. The limits you see now are only an illusion. Whatever it is that you desire, that's already yours. It already exists in the universe here and now. You simply have to awaken to what you already have. And I hope this episode brought you a little closer to that truth. If you love this episode and would like to give from your heart and appreciation, please take a few moments to screenshot it and tag me in your stories on Instagram, or write a brief review on your favorite podcast platform. Your voice truly matters, and your feedback helps to spread abundant expansion to a broader audience. And what a gift that is, right? Just think about how much abundance will come back to you if you help a friend experience their own soul expansion. And with that, I just want to say thank you for being you. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much for listening. And until next time, I'm Kristen Kaczynski, and I love you.